Hi, this is Isabel Florence, and you are listening to You Are Light podcast, a safe space where we talk about mental health and well-being.
Hello, lovely. Welcome back. It's been a really long time. I had a big break. I got so busy that I had to put aside the podcast, which is kind of like a roller coaster. Once you don't do something for a while, it becomes harder to step back into the routine of it. And here I am. I'm stepping back, and I'm excited to share with you everything that's been going on. First of all, I would like to introduce to you the You Are Light journal. It is available on Amazon, and it's something that I created because I really enjoy journaling as well as keeping my life organized and my habits. And I wanted to have something that not only supported my type A personality, which loves a schedule and priority lists and habit trackers, but also something that would support the spiritual side and the physical side. Every month you have a goals planner and a vision board. You can decide what it is that you want to focus on. You have obviously the calendar to put everything that is most important. You also have a habit tracker, which I love. It keeps you accountable. And you have a monthly mindfulness page where you can dot down just feelings, discomfort, how you are feeling in your mind, your body, your soul, lessons you have learned. And then every day you have a big schedule with times of the whole day, your mood, people to call or email, top priorities of the day, water intake, which I think is probably one of the most important things to keep in track when it comes to your health. A grateful part where you will write down something that you're grateful for today. And then you have a big page where you can write down your morning pages, your self-reflective journal. That will probably be very free-handed, without much thought behind it, just putting everything down in the page. You know, I'm a big fan of Carl Jung and how he uncovers a lot of the lessons from our subconscious through dreams. So there's a dream journal at the end of every month as well. A creativity journal if you're a creative and you want to jot things down. Shopping list at the very end where you can put all of the items that are usually in your list, and then you cross it when you have it and circle when you need it. You also have journaling prompts at the very end if you have days where you're not sure what to write about, and mindfulness activity, which is mandalas that you can color. It's coming with me wherever I go. It's keeping me accountable, it's keeping me reflective and grateful, and it's really nice. This is the second edition, so I wanted to share only when I felt like it was ready, and I feel like it's ready now. So if you want to purchase it, I'll leave a link. And if you want to gift a friend or a family member, you can also do so. Now is the time to talk about the topic we're going to approach today, and probably in the next few podcasts as well, because it's something that I'm still discovering and reflecting on, and it's the main subject in my mind right now, and it has a lot to do with the phase that I am in my life right now as a woman. This is mainly for women, but I think also it's so important for men to understand what it takes for a woman to feel balanced when it comes to her hormones. So today we're going to talk about hormone balancing. Today I'm going to explain to you everything that I'm doing. Next time I'm going to explain to you the results of my blood tests and what it means to me going forward, and the reflections that these results have forced me to have. I really believe that for me, the things that are put in my path are for a reason. So everything that I'm going through right now has to do with lessons that I should be learning. So let's talk about our hormones. The first step for me was nutrition. I am already someone who's fascinated by nutrition and the power that it has over our health and our well-being, not only physical but emotional as well. And it's quite refreshing to look at nutrition from a hormone perspective rather than the usual good foods, bad foods, quality of calorie, nutrient density, macros. It's another viewpoint that you can take when you're looking at your nutrition, whether it's supporting your hormones or not. And for me, a big part of it was introducing more protein in the beginning of my day. So usually I would have breakfast later in the day, around 11 or 12 even. And a lot of the times I wouldn't have any protein in it. Usually I would be having 2 coffees before that breakfast. And I decided to change that. So now in the evening or the day before, I prepare a protein pudding, which is what I call. And it's super easy. And I have it usually after the first coffee, before the second. During the morning, so as early as possible. I don't want to be eating a lot of food when I'm not hungry, because that feels like I'm going against my body's needs and wants. So I keep it small, and it's something that I just have before I have too much caffeine. So if you wake up and you have a lot of coffee without eating anything, what happens? Your cortisol spikes. That is your stress hormone. This hormone is naturally higher in the morning, but if you're piling it with caffeine, it will make it worse. This can then trigger a blood sugar roller coaster. If you're not eating a good amount of protein in the morning, your blood sugar will spike. Your insulin will spike more easily later in the day when you have carbs, or if you have something like fruit, something sweet. So this is why your hormones will be affected by this. What you want in your body when it comes to hormone balancing is to limit as much as you can the amount of stress you will feel. Think of it like this. Biology has looked at a woman as the carrier of a baby. If you are a human being suffering a lot of stress, your biology will tell you it's not time to have a child. So your hormones will get dysregulated by stress, and you won't be able to get pregnant as easily. When you feel very stressed, your body prioritizes survival over fertility. So it will make cortisol instead of estrogen, progesterone, DHEA, and testosterone. So you'll feel unbalanced. Even if you're not looking to get pregnant, this will impact your mental health, your physical health, and your ability to go through life in the healthiest way possible as a woman. We're talking about the combination of the yin and the yang again, because yang is this going forward, powerful, energized side of your life, but you also need the yin. You need the relaxation, you need the peace, you need the meditation, deep breaths, slowing down, being more creative, allowing your intuition to flow. This is so important for women. And the way we live right now is very far away from giving value to relaxation, to digestion, to creativity, to slowing down. We as women need to understand how influenced we are by the lifestyle that we lead, and how hormones is almost like the roots of our tree. If the roots are not strong, are not grounded, the top of the tree cannot reach up towards the sky, towards the sun, cannot bloom. So you might feel like your menstrual cycle is dysregulated, you have mood swings, you have inflammation in your body, you might end up with insulin resistance, a lot of reasons to balance our hormones. And the first thing that I did was to include protein in the morning before having too much caffeine. It also means that I stopped naturally intermittent fasting, because I was doing it without meaning to do it, and I don't think it was healthy for me. I have included more omega-3s in my diet, more chia seeds, more flax seeds. because the omega-3s help with hormone productions and reduce inflammation. I have started cycle syncing. So I have 2 jars in my fridge. One is for the luteal phase. It's a mix of sunflower seeds and sesame seeds. And the other one is for the follicular phase, which is flax seeds and pumpkin seeds. So depending on what phase I'm in, I just sprinkle it in my dinner or in my dessert. I have also become more aware of the movement that I do according to where in my cycle I am. Lowering the intensity of the workouts during the luteal and the menstrual phase is the best. And when you are ovulating and in your follicular phase, you can push harder. And you will feel naturally this wish in your body to use more energy. I have eliminated all artificial sweeteners from my diet except for stevia because it comes from a natural plant. I was buying chocolate bars and some of them, because I avoid sugar, had artificial sweeteners, and I'm pretty sure these artificial sweeteners were messing up with my gut health, which in turn messes up with my hormone balance. So I decided to just stop eating all artificial sweeteners except for stevia. There is a possibility also that artificial sweeteners influence your insulin response. I have to do more research on that, but I would rather just avoid it altogether. The other thing that I've been doing is checking all the skincare that I buy and the makeup that I buy for endocrine disruptors. A lot of beauty products have compounds that mimic estrogen and interfere with your hormone signaling. So I didn't get rid of everything that I have because that would be very wasteful. But whenever I run out of something and I have to buy new, I double check whether it has endocrine disruptors ingredients in it. And if it does, I just choose something else. It's a little bit tricky for me because some makeup that is very clean will give me acne. So it's a balance between finding something that will not disrupt my hormones, but also is non-comedogenic, which basically means it will not clog my pores. If you want to know exactly what I'm using, let me know, and I can just share a list of all my makeup products and my skincare. I've also been using an Aura ring to track my temperature every morning, and it's helping me understand my cycle better. You can use apps. You don't have to get an Aura ring. I think it's really helpful to check your temperature to know exactly where you are in your cycle and start to become curious about your cycle. What does it mean? Where are the hormones at what point? And how do they make you feel accordingly? There's also a part that I think is coming from our ancestors, especially the women in our family. I think it's important to heal the wounds that maybe were passed down to us. So I continued doing therapy. I continued to journal, to be aware of my dreams. And I am also doing craniosacral therapy, which is incredible for the emotions and the traumas that have been stored in the body that are very subconscious to me. In some sessions, there has been a connection to things that I believe have been gifted from my ancestors. I saw in some sessions women that I believe were my ancestors. I also had sessions where it took me back to a very young age, memories that I had no connection to before that were very deep in my subconscious self. So I think this healing is also important for our hormone balancing because our body stores all of our trauma and all the trauma that has been passed down to us. So I think having a practice that dives deeper into the things that we're not conscious of is also very important. I've also upgraded my vitamins, so I've added quite a few to my list that are specifically for hormone balancing. I will share a full list of all of them in my show notes. And then I'm doing the usual things that I do to just stay healthy, which is drink at least 3 liters of water a day, stay away from processed foods as much as possible, but without creating an obsessive health-driven mindset when it comes to food. I think it's important to not demonize foods too much. Movement every day, at least an hour and a half, mainly walking. Meditation every day, and gratitude, I think, also keeps me very peaceful and happy. I think also there's a part of me that craves the connection with women, which I think is really important. There must be a reason why we all sync our cycles when we're all together for a long period of time, you know? I think there is a lack of this support between women nowadays, which I think is very important. So I take time to put energy into my friendships with other women, which I think really support my hormones. I really do. So these are the main things that I'm doing, which you can slowly incorporate in your day-to-day life if you want. I believe the most important part is doing all of this for love of your uterus, your cycle, your ovaries, your womanhood, the power that we carry as women to bring life to this world. It can get very stressful or overwhelming if you're trying to do everything right, but I think the main lesson is to try to love yourself a little bit more every day and accept that you're a very powerful human being and that hormones make us incredibly interesting and deep and intricate. We have so much within us, and we should celebrate that every day as women. And for the men, you should celebrate your women as well. And for those somewhere in between, there's also a celebration for having all these different characteristics and components within us. We all have the feminine, we all have the masculine. We're all fascinating in our own ways. I hope this was interesting, and if you have any questions, just let me know. It's good to be back. I love you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening. All the links are written down on the show notes, as well as resources for anyone struggling with their mental health. Don't forget to subscribe so you're notified when we release new episodes. Also, feel free to share our podcast with your friends and family. And if you'd like to get involved, explore our content, or support our work, visit our website www.youarelight.earth. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at you.r.light. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.